Have you ever felt?
Shut up and sit down.
Hey YouTube. It's the bypass of this YouTube situation, and it looks a booty. Hey YouTube, it's the Pied Piper. I'm wearing makeup today, as you can see. My face is still rebelling again, but I'm powering through it because I needed to get out some videos. So I apologize in advance if my voice sounds kind of muffled or like I'm not really enunciating. I have a really super bad toothache and I need to see a dentist stat. So because of that, I may not open my mouth. So if you hear anything weird, that's what it is. This is going to be a different video because there's so much going on in the news right now. I'm not a drama channel. I never have proclaimed to be. In fact, I love the drama channels out there. I think they do a great job keeping everybody informed and in the loop of all the drama and things going on. And I normally keep my opinion out of everything. Well, not everything if you watch my reviews on The Passage and Roswell, but as a general rule of thumb, I try not to have an opinion about things that I don't personally know about. One of those things being the Jussie Smollett thing, and then Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson, and I guess Jordyn Woods, that whole cheating thing. I try not to have any sort of opinion on it because realistically, I wasn't there. I'm not friends with any of those people. I have no idea how things played out or what, if there's an ulterior motive, if there's not. Just like I also am not a junior sleuther, and I don't know if Jussie Smollett is being set up or framed. I don't know if he really did what they say he did. I don't know any of that. Unfortunately, they don't hand me a case file and show me everything, so I have zero authority to give an input on that particular topic. So I usually just stay out of it because I don't know. I know just as much as you know, as much as the public knows, and nobody else really knows what exactly is true and what exactly is false. And I'm not saying he's guilty, I'm not saying he's innocent, I'm just saying I can't possibly know what's real because I am not one of the detectives that investigated any of this. So everything I get is secondhand, third hand, just like everybody else. But there are a couple things that I thought were really interesting about not only the Jussie Smollett situation, but also the Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson, and Jordyn Woods situation. Although I'm not supposed to have an opinion, and it's really not my place, I'm just going to give my opinion since everybody else is doing it and they're cashing in just by putting their names in the title. I, however, am not going to be cashing in on this, but I do have an interesting outlook, I think, on it, or at least a different one that I haven't seen anybody else float. So, as you will know, if you watch my channel normally, you will see that I did that blackfishing topic, and I talked about it mostly because I do the show Love and Swirl, and all of my stuff on my channel has been embracing the idea of tolerance and race relations and just people being people and not defined by the color of their skin and whatever else. So I stand up for that kind of stuff. And the blackfishing thing was interesting to me because I was not on the squeaky wheel side of things. And the squeaky wheels, remember I said, were the people who get more speaking time or publicity because, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, versus people who kind of lay back and watch things. They don't really ever get that same consideration. Their voices are a lot lower than the voices of the masses. So I fall into the camp of the people who just didn't get that much consideration because I am not one of those people who looked at it the way that the squeaky wheels looked at it. And one of the ways that a lot of people, or at least not a lot of people, but a lot of women, and black women specifically on YouTube, were saying things like, when the blackfishing thing came out, they were saying, those white women were not trying to look black, they were trying to look racially ambiguous, or they were trying to look mixed. And I made the argument of it's not like they were trying to be mixed with anything other than black. So technically they were blackfishing. And then all of a sudden, out of all this stuff over the weeks and weeks and weeks and even months since I've done that video, it's come out more people doing blackface and all this other stuff, and it's just like crazy because it's still immediate now. But one of the issues I had with so many videos, and when I say that I've seen so many videos dedicated to this Jussie Smollett situation, like it really is a ton. I don't watch Empires. I think I caught like 2 episodes once, and that was on accident, so I don't really know how famous he is. I know his sister Jordyn because I believe when she was really young, she was on the Cosby Show or something. She played a little friend. I don't know, but I know that she was on there. And so that's all I recognize. And so when I saw him like in the news prior to any of this scandal, I was like, oh, he looks just like her. But otherwise, I don't really know him, so I have no idea how that all plays out. And like I said before, I'm not saying that he's innocent because I don't know. I don't know what the investigation turned up because we only know what the police put out there. We only know what they're going to put out there to try to save themselves, even if it's wrong or not. So I'm like, my mindset on it goes, police lie. And most minorities have a healthy dose of not fear of police, but we all know and we're very aware of that kind of situation. We have seen police lie. We've seen police do tons of things. So while I'm of the mindset that I don't know what's true or what's false, I can say that the police and even media are only going to give us information they want to give us to fit the agenda that they're trying to push. So I can't say I know anything concrete because I'm not one of the people involved. However, I think it's funny because, like, I'll go back to the whole squeaky wheel situation. When all of the blackfishing stuff came out, there were a lot of people, not everyone, but there were several YouTubers who were saying things like, you know, that the whole blackfishing thing was not a darker skinned woman of color's fight. It wasn't a darker skinned black woman's fight. The women that needed to fight for this were mixed women or biracial women. And so they kind of took a back seat and they were just like, no, this is like a whole mixed issue. And they very pointedly said, mixed people are not black. I thought that was interesting because I just don't see things that way. And if you really want to know, I'll link a card here and you can see what I actually feel about it. I'm not going to lay it all out again. But I do think it's weird because with this Jussie Smollett thing, you know, there's a lot of different groups of people that what he's done affects. It affects the LGBTQ community. It affects the black community, especially because he said that these men jumped him and that they said these racial slurs against him and the whole Make America Great thing situation. And they also made slurs about his sexual orientation. So he really kind of packed in every issue that they could attack on this situation. So unfortunately, I can't relate to the LGBTQ situation because I don't know the battle that they face, but I definitely think there are a lot of people on YouTube who have come forward and said, you know, just how this affects their community. And for the racial side of it, if this is all a fabricated situation, then I think it's sad because it will cause people to question when somebody of a different minority or just in a minority community, whether that be LGBTQ or whether that be black or whatever, it's just going to affect everything because people will keep remembering this. So it does set some things back if what is alleged is actually true. However, I think it's funny that so many of these YouTubers who were so sure that the black fishing thing did not apply to them because those women were trying to look biracial, and biracial or mixed is not black. I think it's funny now how many of those same YouTubers are coming forward and saying, he's ruining it for the black community, it's Black History Month, and yada, 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 yada. And I'm like, technically, this shouldn't ruin anything for the black community. And I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm saying that that's what the squeaky wheel camp should be thinking, because realistically, Jussie Smollett and all of his siblings are all biracial. They are mixed. They have a white father and a black mother. So if in fact that's the case, according to all the squeaky wheels, they stated very plainly when the blackfishing came out that mixed people were not black and that black people needed to stop trying to own mixed people and, you know, put them into that community. And I think it's weird now because all those same people are saying like he is influencing the black community and black and this black man. And I mean, people have not even acknowledged the fact that he is biracial. Not one person has said it. Not one. They're just like, he's black. but really he is biracial. So if you are part of the squeaky wheel camp, why are you talking on this at all? Because you guys were all really quick to disown the whole idea of blackfishing, because as you stated, blackfishing was not a black woman's problem. So I think that's kind of interesting, and that's just my 2 cents on the situation, because like I said, I am not an investigator on the case. I'm not a detective. Nobody handed me a file and showed me all of this proof. So I don't know for sure and can't claim with certainty whether Jussie Smollett is lying or telling the truth. So it's not for me to judge, because I just don't have all the facts. I do think that it sucks that so many people turned on him so quickly. There have been other people who have told lies about crime. There have been men who've murdered their wives and things like that. And literally they were the only person home, the only person with access to them and everything. And the evidence never singled them out as closely as this Jussie Smollett situation. So I guess that's just food for thought. Like I said, I could be wrong. And I agree with some people that I've heard say that this seems like it might be not just him that fabricated this. If it is a fabrication, it feels like this is that there's a big part we are missing. So I think that too. I think that we as a society have gotten so reliant, especially on social media and things, that when all of these rumors came out, people have just accepted the rumors as facts, even when those were not the facts. And people I have seen, even as recently as today on YouTube, are still reporting inaccuracies. Like the Nigerian brothers, who clearly stated that they are not Nigerian, they're actually American of Nigerian descent. But so many people keep saying, oh, the Nigerian brothers, they are American citizens, so they're just brothers. And that's not the only discrepancy that I've seen too. And then now people are saying like, oh, maybe he faked the letter that went to the Empire studio or whatever. And I just think that that's kind of weird, because if I go by the logic that he probably did that too, I feel like, why would he tell those brothers all of that? I understand maybe trying to hire them to do something shisty, but then it's like, why would you give them ammunition that they could just extort you with for life? Let's say they didn't out you and go to when the police took them, they didn't snitch. So if that happened, they could have literally extorted Jussie Smollett every day of his life after that. It would have been very lucrative for them to do that, especially if he just handed them over and told them, yeah, I faked the letter, I did this and that. They have too many weapons against him. So it's kind of interesting that people are like, oh yeah, they're totally telling the truth. But I'm like, just because somebody is charged with something doesn't make it a fact. Or that doesn't make them guilty because they were charged. We see a lot of people who are falsely accused of things and found guilty, and it's all been false. So I don't necessarily look at it like, oh, well, because he was arrested, it must make it true. And like I said, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's false. I just think there's a lot of stuff that we're never going to know, because the police are not going to share that. They're definitely not going to post that on their Facebook, where they have literally been keeping the public up to date about this case. I kind of like the days where something had to be thoroughly investigated first before they were found guilty by public opinion. I just think we should have known less until there was concrete stuff, because rumors have just been flying. It's just been so much stuff. And I'm like, we are not police officers. I'm not a detective. I have no idea what they really found or what they didn't find. I can only know what they've reported, and what they've reported may not always be facts, in my opinion. And again, I don't know if he did it or not. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff in there that you have to consider, especially because they say that he paid them $3,500 to do this. And I'm like, for two people, $3,500 is not that much. And then it said that they flew to Nigeria right after the incident. And I'm thinking, $3,500 would have literally only paid for their 2 tickets to Nigeria, and that's it. And so I don't know if that's even true. It could be totally fabricated, that part of it. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff floating around about this, and I just think that it's sad because we as a society have decided that social media is like the place for legitimate news, and that's not necessarily true, in my opinion. And so then I wanted to go over Jordyn Wood and Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. Now, I used to be the biggest fan of Kim Kardashian. I seriously thought that her and I, were probably the same person. We could have been best friends. I really liked Kim for a long time. And then there were certain things that came up that kind of like skewed my view of her. And so I was like, I don't know if I can rep that hard for Kim anymore. But Khloe, I've always repped hard for it. Like, I just always, for some reason, have been really drawn to Khloe. I just thought she's really genuine and just very open. I just have really liked Khloe for a long time. So the fact that this Tristan Thompson person has cheated on her numerous times and done this shady stuff is devastating. Not to me, but definitely to her. And the fact that she has a daughter now, and she's got to be this example for her daughter, and it's just so much stuff. And I just really feel sad for that situation. However, like I said, I don't know the facts. I wasn't there. I didn't see Jordyn spend the night and do walk of shame out the next day. I didn't see any of that. I don't know how her walk of shame went. I don't know if she had her heels in her hand and she was tiptoeing out. I don't know any of that because I wasn't there. A lot of people weren't there. I watched one YouTuber who was a drama channel, and like I said, I like most of the drama channels. Like, love them. What is it, The Viewer's Voice or whatever? I really like him. I like tons of them. I heard one of them say about the whole Jordyn Woods situation, and not just them, the drama channels, but I've heard a lot of people speaking out on social media and Instagram and stuff, and they're like, oh, she destroyed her bag and she now has to move out of Kylie's house, and they put her up and they made her famous and they accepted her like family. And realistically, what it sounds like everybody's saying, and this is just, again, my interpretation of it and what I get when I hear it, so it's just an opinion, don't sue me. But when I hear those things, all I keep thinking is Jordyn is not some puppy that was rescued from a no-kill shelter. Like, that's not what happened. And I don't know her personal life, but I'm thinking if she was best friends with Kylie for that long, they would have probably met because they run in the same circle, which means her family probably has some money. They may not have Kardashian money, but they probably have money. So I don't think she's like on a street corner shaking a can for change. You know that game that kids play called telephone? And you say something in one person's ear, and then by the time it gets to the end of the row, that is a totally different sentence. That's kind of how this feels. But then I think that people aren't thinking of something very important. Is right before Valentine's Day and everything, people were criticizing Khloe Kardashian's Instagram posts. She posts a lot of inspirational quotes and stuff. I really enjoy those. And everybody kept saying like they thought that her and Tristan were not together because it just felt like they already had broken up. And then I guess it came out where she had said, no, we're still together. But then literally less than a week later, it comes out that she broke up with him because of this whole Jordyn Woods thing. And I'm thinking to myself, that sounds really convenient because you know how they shoot their show before it airs. It's not like we're seeing it live. We're seeing it after it's already been recorded. So part of me thinks that this might have happened not that recently. I don't know. That's just me. That's my 2 cents. I could be wrong. However, the issue I have with people totally criminalizing Jordyn Woods is, first of all, who of us at 21 didn't make a mistake? Now, granted, her mistake is huge, because she totally broke girl code, not for necessarily her and Khloe, but definitely for her and Kylie. But my issue is everybody's acting like if it wasn't for Kylie, Jordyn Woods would be living in a box on the side of the road. And they keep talking about her as if she should be so grateful to the Kardashians for ever even looking in her direction. I have to say that if that's how she felt in her head, the way people are bashing her for, basically, because like I said, a lot of these YouTubers are saying things like, oh, she destroyed her bag, and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking, she probably has money of her own. Is she as famous as Kylie? No. But do I think she probably has some money? Yes. Is it the baddest thing in the world if she did move back in with her mom? No. She's 21. She wasn't ready for the real world, obviously. But the issue is that we're treating, even though everybody's like, we need to hold Tristan accountable, nobody's really holding him accountable, at least not in social media. I'm sure Khloe is, but as far as social media and everybody reporting, they're very stuck on Jordyn Woods, and they're treating her like she should have this scarlet A, because she's like this trollop or whatever. And I think that that's wrong, because I'm just like, it takes two to tango, and his loyalties to Khloe and their child are way stronger than Jordyn Woods to his relationship with Khloe. Not to say that she doesn't have a loyalty that she should have for the Kardashians. However, his role is a lot bigger. And for him to do that is scandalous too. And he should be drugged through the mud a lot more than we have heard him be drugged through the mud. everybody's just acting like, oh, you know, the dog's gonna be a dog, and that's just how they're writing it off. But with her, they're trying to make her seem like she was this poor orphan girl who was plucked from obscurity and brought into the Kardashian home and had her life turned around by them because they are her saviors. And I don't like that narrative that's being floated. It seems like it's not racist, but it seems a little racial. Because I'm like, so because the Kardashians liked her and she was around, they were obviously helping bring her up. And it's just like, I don't think it's like that. To be honest, she probably has the ability to have things of her own. She's just not exercising it. It's not like, oh, she was staying at Kylie's house and like she was the maid or something. Like, that's not what it was. So I just don't like this whole hero complex or savior complex a lot of people reporting on this seem to have for the Kardashians. Like I said, I like Khloe a whole bunch. She's my favorite. However, and I feel for her situation because I have been cheated on before and it sucks. But just because I feel for her, I don't think that Jordyn Woods should be considered this puppy they picked up off the side of the road. Like, we don't know how much they influenced her career or whatever else. So to paint her out like she should have been respectful because she owes them for all they've done for her, I just think that's wrong. And it sends the wrong message because that's not true. And she doesn't owe them anything if they did help her out. You know, like, yeah, she should have been loyal because she owes her best friend something and that friendship should mean something. But in the same breath, she is not their puppy. And so it seems very vicious to try to make her seem like they were her saviors, and now what is she going to do because she had it all because of the Kardashians giving her everything. And I'm just like, that just doesn't seem like a fair assessment of her. And it's basically like saying like, oh, well, they brought her up because she's like a poor black girl in this situation. That's not what it is. And I don't think Khloe necessarily is portraying things that way. And we all know that the Kardashians really like black people. However, you're treating Jordyn Woods' situation like she was just, you know, all downtrodden until the Kardashians walked into her world. And I'm just like, I don't think it's like that. And I think that if what people are saying and how people are criticizing her is how she felt, kind of like she had to stay within certain boundaries and wasn't acceptable to do certain things because she owed them, if that's how she felt, then it makes more sense why she would entertain Tristan Thompson's flirtations. And I don't know how it worked. Maybe she was the whole predator. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it seems like if that's how she felt, like they expected her to kiss their butt for the rest of their lives, her life, because they did so much for her, then I think if that was how she was feeling, imagine how hurtful that is to feel that way. Like, you can't even be normal or do anything because you owe these people your entire existence. And if that was how she was feeling, I really think that could have aided in her doing something like that because she's trying to strike out on her own if that's how she felt. If she felt like these people are treating me like I'm the hired help, they're treating me like they did so much for me and saved my life, that mentality breeds animosity. So if that was her mentality, and I don't know what it was, because like I said, Jordyn Woods and I don't know each other at all, and plus she's 21. I don't have not one 21-year-old friend. I'm far too old for that. But I think people should start looking at it a little different because I've just heard too many people bashing her to the point of basically making her a scapegoat and also making her seem like she should be kissing the ground that they walk on because they've done so much for her. I don't think that they're the saviors that people are saying. And again, I love Khloe and feel for her situation, especially maybe true. I think that's horrible that this stuff happened because it sucks all the way around. And Jordyn Woods should absolutely be held accountable for the things that she did, especially if she did have a closer bond than we know with Khloe. However, selling her like she should be throwing rose petals before they walk in a room and getting on her hands and knees and kissing the ground they walk on, I don't like that whole savior twist that everybody seems to have on this situation. That's just me. Yeah, that was my opinions. Because that's all they are, is opinions, and we all know that opinions are like what? Everybody's got one. Like, subscribe, comment, share, carrier pigeon, Morse code, telegram, 2 cups and a string. Don't forget to comment, follow me on all my social media. It's listed in the description. And also, remember to keep it classy in the comments. We can agree to disagree. If you feel differently than how I feel, that's fine. I'm just providing another spin for things and not necessarily taking either side in this situation. But that's it. And thank you for watching, as always. And I'm still going to be doing reviews. I don't know if I'm still going to be reviewing Roswell, New Mexico. So if you think I should, you got to leave a comment, because other than that, I probably won't. I definitely will be reviewing The Passage and recapping that as well. I think that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Tell somebody that knew somebody that knows somebody that, hey, Piper has a new video. And I will see you later, Peaches.
Shut up and sit down.